Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Tonight we're starting off the stream with Bitcoin exploding to the upside. We're going to take a look at the stock market price action as well and see what we're thinking for the remainder of the week. We'll go over the current world news, and then we're going to be checking out more absurd Reddit posts brought to you by opinions nobody asked for. As always, we'll have some compelling questions for the chat, so grab a drink and let's get into it.
JJ's got the keys to the blockchain breeze. He's live every day, decode the mazes. JJ's cryptic corner where the coins keep turning. Log in now, the future's burning. JJ's cryptic corner. JJ's cryptic corner. Pixels glow, charts flow. Crypto whispers, secrets show. He cracks the code on this winding road. JJ's cryptic corner. JJ's cryptic corner. JJ's cryptic corner. JJ's cryptic corner. JJ's cryptic. Tune in, lean back, grab your coffee, hit the track. JJ's live, don't be late. Cryptic wisdom, seal your fate. JJ's cryptic.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Happy Wednesday. How's everyone doing today? Sign up in the chat, smash the like button on your way in. I appreciate you guys for joining. We got a poll for your attention in the chat. It's a zombie apocalypse. Which crypto personality are you picking for your team? Your options are Michael Saylor. He's got marketing. He's got PR, public relations experience. He could be good for like talking to communities and pretty much selling them on whatever you need. CZ from Binance. He has prison experience. He's a little cut up. He might be able to like fight the zombies off with his bare hands. Charles Hoskinson, he's got farm experience. Charles can grow stuff like food, if you couldn't tell. And Vitalik Buterin. He won't eat much, and he's got a big brain, so maybe he'll be great. Might be the perfect two birds, one stone situation with Vitalik. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Let's see. Hey, what's going on, guys? Happy Wednesday. Is the camera blurry already? Camera's blurry right out the gate. Oh my gosh. Okay, what's going on? Justin, Crypto OG, Gourmet Brands. Appreciate you guys. Justin said, what's up, fam? What a good day. The war on crypto is over. Gourmet said, yo, yes, great day. Nice candle. Very nice candle. Beautiful candle. We also have a little input from Salt Animator 6283 on the crypto markets subreddit. He asked, what just caused this sudden Bitcoin spike? Just opened the charts and saw a massive green candle out of nowhere. What's driving the momentum today? We've got a update from Ulyss app. I don't know what that is. 1. The USA is doubling its purchase of its own debt. This effectively means that they are issuing debt and then printing money to buy it back. In other words, the money printer is back on. 2. Bitcoin has been coiled for 81 days in the same range. These coils land up in big moves. The bigger the coil, and this one was big, the bigger the move. Let's see if it holds this time, LOL. Money printer go burr. Inflation, our money is worth less. Treasury announced will double long-term U.S. government debt buybacks. Clarity meeting today. I don't know if it was a clarity meeting. Majority of market was piling in shorts. This is just to wipe them out. All the finance bros are back at school now. My guess is the inflow is their tuition, room and board, discretionary spending funds being dumped into the exchanges. It's kind of funny. Okay, so we got a little bit of input from Reddit over there. Very cool. Let's go refresh our liquidation heat map and see where we're at. Pretty big difference today compared to yesterday. 12-hour. Ooh, my goodness. Holy cow. Even those guys got wiped out. That stinks. $90 million. Wow. What's going on? 88. All right, we've got 70, 164. 70, 164. We just touched 70K. And then down below, we've got 68, 941. Just barely touched 70K. Are we going to get to 90K before September? We've got just over 10 days. Yeah, we've got 12 days before September. If we hit 90K before September, or I'm going to say during September, I'm going to give myself that little bit of leeway. If we hit 90K before or during September, then the 4-year cycle is no more. 88 said no BitBoy option. No, BitBoy unfortunately has been MIA for a little while. I hope he's doing better. In my opinion, there's no excuse for infidelity or basically abandoning your family, but I hope he's doing better. You know, he entertained us for quite some time. BitBoy would eat you. All right. That Moderna ripped A. Yeah, I guess they did. No, I almost typed USDT again. 150% I heard. Woo! Look at that. Right now they're still up over 150. Wow, that's crazy. Tom Sox Code said cancer's cured, bro. I heard it was cured a long time ago. This is just them commercializing the cure now. So 69, 396 on the Bitcoin price. Absolutely explosive upside. ETH did even better. Look at ETH. Oh my gosh. Wow. ETH we're looking at right now, as it sits, 17-ish%. Sol did really good as well. Whoops. Clicking around places I shouldn't be clicking around. Sol, right now it's 10. Total 3 did really good. Oh my gosh, look at that. We finally broke out of that upper trend line. We are just in line, though, with our beginning of July, like July 4th tops, though. So we need to do a little bit better, in my opinion. I want to see some real upside here. I don't want to see just like a pretty cute little upside move and then it, you know, fizzle out. I want to see some real sustained upside here. ADA had a little baby pump. 6%. Wow. Snack. Also 6%. Wow. Midnight actually did pretty good. Surprise, surprise. This thing was up 11%. Good for them. XRP killed it. This thing's up 10%. SWE. Yeah, I don't know. I got mixed feelings about SWE. I wanted it to be good, but it's kind of fallen off in my opinion. Pump. I mean, Pump's been doing good. So, you know, if you're feeling down, then that's from a very privileged standpoint. If you're a Pump guy feeling down right now. Ondo could have been better. 5, 6, 7%. Arrow. Ooh, Arrow's 11%. Very nice. Avalanche. 7%. Chainlink also killed it. 10%. Doge. Ooh, 6%. Credit spreads. Let's see. Lunar Entity, wherever you are, we miss you. Credit spreads are up. Interesting. When you are at 0, only ways up. That is true. Yeah, Hype apparently went crazy. Trump actually mentioned Hype. He said that the CFTC is working on getting Hype to the US or something. 18% candle right there on the day. Wow. Good for them, dude. Good for them. Hype is one of those ones that we said was going to do great. Hype, to me, Hype is probably top 5 worthy. Long term. I think Hype has the potential to become number 3 behind ETH. I don't know, though. It's a cutthroat market. The market that Hype is trying to enter. Anyways, I wanted to focus on specific assets. What was that? Maybe ETH specifically? I wanted to specifically look at Bitcoin. We talked about this happening. This choppy downtrend right here. And then eventually breaking above it. And then we were retesting, and we talked about the retest, and then we chopped a little bit, and then this thing just took off. That retest apparently was the retest, which is huge. The next question is, since, you know, it's been so long since we've been at this price. Oh boy, am I rugging? No? Okay, we're good, we're good. All right. Since it's been so long since we've been at this price, how long is it going to take us to get above 75K? Because we got to make sure we got a fractal. God, this is so messy. This is so freaking messy. Let me make it less messy. Somehow this is better. Jeez. All right. I want to make sure that we don't do this again. And it looks like we still could. So I'm not going to straight up say this is it. And it's up only from here because I don't know if that's the case. We need to get above $80,000 with conviction. Otherwise, right now, we're still within this realm of possibility of this being the move. And I don't like this move because this move results in further downside. It does take us down to my 51.5 though, which is quite a coincidence, right at that little October bottom that everyone plagiarized from 4chan. So, I don't know, man. I don't know. As long as we're not missing the big boy move, though, I don't care. If I get more time to accumulate, great. If I don't, and we go up only from here, even better. Because I'm not a patient person. I'm not a patient person by any means. ETH in 2200. Yeah, dude, ETH absolutely ripped today. ETH, like, shoved... Everyone bounced off of ETH at the airport today. It was a callback to yesterday. Yesterday's Reddit stories. Perpetual futures coming on Hype, right? So Hype is a perp dex. And I don't know, I thought it was kind of funny that Trump was like, they're working on bringing Hype to America. You can use Hype if you're in America, from what I understand, because it's decentralized. But maybe they're trying to work on regulations so that Hype can, like, legally advertise to Americans and all that stuff. Who knows, man? I don't know. They just make stuff up at this point. Silver and gold doing good. Oh yeah, I got rid of the gold, tokenized gold, because I wanted to add, what did I want to add? Not Hype. Was it Reddit? Or Google? Maybe it was Google. Was it Reddit? No, I think it was Google. I think I was going to add Google. Yeah. Is this even worth adding, though? Maybe it was Hype. I feel like we had Hype before. So we are saying it's a Trump pump? For Hype specifically, I think so. Justin Crypto OG said, no, you can't. I've tried it. Okay. Interesting. Do you need a VPN then? Maybe you just need to turn off location services, because I've had that happen before. Alright, let's figure out where we want to add later. Gold. Gold is 4,500 right now. Very nice. Some nice upside out of gold. Can gold get to 4640? What was this Memorial Day inverse head and shoulder target? Right there? That little dinky one? I think it was this. Yeah. VPN, you're good. Sometimes just turning off location services works too. Or it did in the past, way in the early days with KuCoin. But I don't know if it works anymore. 44.97. Let's see if gold can sustain the price above 45. Volume inconsequential. RSI very briefly overbought. Silver 66.77. Very cool. Not overbought. Interesting. So if it does reject here, then we will technically have bearish div. So be careful with that. But that bearish div does technically call for further upside in the price and further downside in the RSI. So DXY dumping. We do seem to have some semblance of support at 98.75. The 15-year-old legacy trend line for the dollar is right here. Let me just confirm that before I say that for sure. Yes, that trend line goes back to April 2011. And we've briefly poked beneath it right here with like very few candle closes. I guess my biggest question for this is, are we forming some semblance of a inverse head and shoulder. Something, I don't, who knows, man. A little triple bottom action with some upside going above 106. If the dollar loses this level, in my opinion, this yellow level with conviction, everything's going to go bananas. Total guess. The dollar going up is good for your take-home pay. The dollar going down is good for your investments. It is incredibly oversold. Not that we're trading this, but just from the standpoint of, you know, weighted averages, the RSI is incredibly low right now. So that's something to consider. Dow Jones is up 0.22. We got some indecisive candles here. Are we going to pull all the way back to 53? Still, time will tell. We're at 53,472 right now. 88 said they're going to double bonds back moving forward. I've seen. Yeah, that's one of the things. Inverse head and shoulder. You're just drawing lines at this point. I mean, that's all TA is. That's what cracks me up whenever people are like, you have to use this chart or you have to do this or that. And I'm like, do you though? Because you kind of don't. Like, you can just make stuff up all day. You can make stuff up and I can make stuff up, and both of the things that we make up can be completely crazy, and everyone else that looks at them will go, these guys are total nut jobs. And both of us could be right or wrong. And at the end of the day, nobody would ever care. No one on the planet is ever going to do technical analysis, be right, even 100% of the time, and then have other people look at it, vet it, and go, yeah, this guy deserves to be told he was correct. Everyone will always have a problem with everything. But yes, we are just drawing lines at this point. That is TA. I'm sure some TA maxis are going to be mad that I said that, but I don't care. NASDAQ, 29,548. Why does this look so confusing? The NASDAQ was interesting because, you know, we had this first move, false move, and then we broke above. Is this thing going to take off just like Bitcoin just did? This is a little bit different. Bitcoin broke out of a downtrend. NASDAQ is kind of breaking out of a wedge, but even the wedge itself is kind of sloppy, so I don't know, man. Is this a downtrend? Maybe it's breaking out of a downtrend. Maybe that's what's happening. 2 points of confluence on the bottom, or even if you just did the bottom line right here, breaking out of a downtrend. I don't know. 29,537. Can we get above 30K and sustain any price action above 30K? We did just get a bullish cross of the moving average on the RSI, so that's something worth talking about. What's going on, Mr. Roberts? Happy Wednesday, my friend. S&P 7707. We've rejected 78. We are still in the process of rejecting 78. Once, twice. Are we going to do a little modern warfare setup? RSI kind of looks like it's bouncing off of 50. I don't know. NVIDIA down 0.99. Not a whole lot to report here. We're at 218. We're still above 200, which is good. Tesla getting some upside. 350. Looks very nice. MicroStrategy, aka Big B Coffee, up 12.68% on the day. Very nice. Good for them. It only took Bitcoin pumping a ridiculously large amount, 7-8%, for MicroStrategy to put in a 12-13% pump, even though it's still pretty much in this range. I don't want to discount it because, you know, they've been working very, very hard on getting this upside, so good for them. We're going to give them a little participation trophy. We'll mail it to Michael Saylor at his Big B Coffee franchise location. Let's see if we can get above this trend line. We've got resistance maybe at 110. STRC is, surprise, it's not 100. Wow. Billy said everything doing well. JJ, is there something pushing up stocks and crypto today? Yeah, it's what 88 said. They're doubling the amount of debt that they're buying moving forward. So the United States is basically printing money to pay for our debt. And Trump said Michael Selig at CFTC is bringing hype to the United States. And they had the crypto meeting today. What else, man? We had a trade deal with Canada. That was a big deal. I think that they reduced tariffs on automobiles and stuff like that. I don't know. A lot of stuff happened. Bitcoin dominance went up, straight up, and then straight back down. Just got completely denied from ETH pumping. Look at this. 60%? Nope. Vitalik was like, get out of here. Get out of here. Vitalik just busted through the front door and slapped your mother violently in the face. He's a crazy psychopath. I hate that guy. Him and Charles are just going around rampaging people's houses. It's ridiculous. Anyways, Bitcoin looks good. 69,539. Let's get to the news segment. Watcher Guru posted 11 hours ago, Moderna surges 130% after cancer vaccine shows signs of preventing melanoma from spreading. Very cool. Ripple, Coinbase, Kraken, and Chainlink executives to attend White House Crypto Summit today. They have attended. Bitcoin surges to 69,000 as $1.1 billion in crypto shorts are liquidated in 60 minutes. Haha! 88 said, well, that shows Bitcoin leads, eh? It does. It does. President Trump says the U.S. and Canada have agreed to a new trade deal. Let's go! I've noticed the Canadians are showing up in the chat now. I'm glad that we got that worked out. U.S. Federal Bank Regulator OCC says it will establish regulatory framework for crypto stablecoin issuers. Very cool. Federal Reserve officials say further interest rate hikes will likely be needed if inflation does not fall. Philly said, so the crypto low is over, likely or unlikely to see another major dump. I don't know. It depends on your belief. If you believe in the textbook full-year cycle that everyone's insisting on and the bottom in October, then we're probably going to have more downside. The bottom in October is probably going to be that monstrous downside dump to 51.5 that everyone's tweaking about. But if you're not, needing to mentally prepare yourself for something that's probably unlikely to happen, in my opinion, then yes, the bottom could potentially be in. It just depends on how much you may or may not enjoy Ben Cowan. Gold surpassed 4,500. Very cool. President Trump says CFTC is working on bringing hyperliquid to the U.S. This was the big hype pump, 20%er right there. That's a pretty big deal. President Trump says the U.S. is ensuring it remains the undisputed leader in Bitcoin and crypto. He needs to do a little bit better on that front, in my opinion. Hype pumps 15% to 69 after President Trump says the CFTC is working to bring it to the U.S. It has gone up a lot more since then. 88 said, I recall these used to be daily swings in 2021-ish. That is true. This is what a bull market looks like. A real bull market. President Trump says the U.S. is considering buying sizable amounts of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Hell yeah. President Trump called for Congress to pass the Crypto Clarity Act. Okay, White House Crypto Summit recap. President Trump says the U.S. considers buying sizable amounts of Bitcoin and other crypto. Trump calls on Congress to pass the Crypto Clarity Act. Trump says U.S. is ensuring it remains the undisputed leader in Bitcoin and crypto. Hyperliquid pumps 15% to $69 after Trump says CFTC is working to bring it to the United States. SEC Chair Paul Atkins says we will ensure that the greatest advances of technological frontier are realized right here in America. Gemini co-founders say America should lead in crypto and win in market. Trump says he ended the war on crypto once and for all. Hell yeah. Let's see. Tom Southcott said, the dump that I think brings us back to 60K will be the Anthropic IPO. Billy said, I'm not sure if there's any evidence that the 4-year cycle is dead. 88 said, Trump and his lip service, LOL, King of Fluff. So I think that the death of the 4-year cycle is going to be based on the individual that you're asking. My personal goal, before I confidently say the 4-year cycle theory is dead, is Bitcoin getting above $90,000 before the end of September. If Bitcoin reaches 90K between now and what's the last day of September? September 30th, September 31st? Between now and September 30th, Bitcoin reaches 90K, I personally will believe that the 4-year cycle is dead. But according to this, October, I believe it would be October 6th or October 5th of this year, 364 days, is allegedly when the bottom is supposed to happen. So we will see. All right, U.S. national debt officially surpasses 40 trillion. We did it. Bitcoin hits 70K, and much like Watcher Guru fashion, we have since lost that level. Thank you, Watcher Guru. President Trump announces most crushing economic operation ever taken against any country on Iran. This will be economic warfare and isolation on an unprecedented scale. President Trump warns any country helping Iran avoid sanctions will face tremendous economic consequence. You know who you are. Eventually, all UI will be chat and gestures in, chat and video out. Naval says. I don't know if I agree with that, but I see what he's saying. Maybe that's like super duper long term. I'm a user interface geek. Like, I like a good UI. Kobe letter published. President Trump says he paused the 50% tariffs that were supposed to take effect tomorrow morning for a 3-day period. He says the U.S. and Canada have a deal. Very cool. What's going on, Ray? Ray said, sup, JJ, Bitcoin pump along. With the Bitcoin dominance chart being subdued, is bullish AF for altcoins this run. Chainlink pumping too. Just saying, blue chip alts will lead this run. Oh, for sure. For sure. Iran has weighed attacking U.S. military targets in Europe should President Trump escalate the war. Per the Financial Times, details include Iranian forces have reportedly assessed striking the U.S. assets in southeastern European countries, such as Bulgaria. Cyprus, where a British airbase was struck by a drone in March, was also among the potential targets for retaliation in the event of any renewed U.S. offensive. Iranian forces have already reportedly considered attacking subsea fiber optic cables in the Strait of Hormuz in the event of an escalation. Iran is ready to expand its range of targets should the war escalate again. I do kind of... The idea of them accidentally cutting off their own internet is kind of comical to me. Breaking the Clarity Act now has just 20% chance of being signed into law in 2026. Just months ago, markets saw an 80% chance of Clarity Act being signed into law. Crypto needs a new catalyst. The Clarity Act is junk anyways. I hope that they just come out and say that it's trashed. Get rid of it, man. It's just, it seems like everyone's leaning on it for a pump and it's not going to do anything. Billy said, Grok said no clear proof before your cycle's dead, but there's real evidence it has weakened or changed. See, to me, changing kind of ruins it, because it's supposed to be the set in stone for sure thing, but no, that's what I mean. To each their own. Everyone's got their own definition. The U.S. Treasury announces it will double the size long-term U.S. government debt buybacks following the rapid surge in U.S. Treasury yields. Repurchases of $2 billion will now be increased to at least $4 billion, the U.S. Treasury said. The move is intended to provide liquidity support for bonds measuring in 10 to 30 years as total U.S. debt nears $40 trillion. There is the intervention we have been calling for. Let's check the 10-year. Bet you that dropped. Bam. What did we say? Taco Tuesday. Taco Tuesday on Wednesday. Let's go. Very nice. Very nice. Thank you, Taco Tuesday. Bitcoin 69,621. Mr. Robert said, hey, Ray. Panman 2632 said, I'm currently in a short for Sol. Do you think we're going up soon? Like right now? Up soon. It really depends on the momentum. If the rest of the globe decides to catch this bid up, I really have no idea. No way of knowing for sure. Because this was definitely a United States pump. I don't know if Japan or the United Kingdom are going to carry it as well. I think UK markets are already trading. I think Japan... let me see. What time EST does Japan markets open? Japan market opens at 7 p.m. What is EDT? Daylight time. 9 a.m. through 8 p.m. Kitchen. So yeah, I think the markets are all already open. Hong Kong stock market opens at 9:30. Okay. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure all the markets are open. So I don't know if there was going to be any surprises. Usually when moves happen like this, in my opinion, if I'm not in a move, I'm probably not going to make a trade once the move has already begun. But that's me. Derek said, sup dudes, why are we pumping? Money printer go burr, and Trump said nice things about crypto. Ray said, okay, hang on. I'm in a meeting for the next 3 hours. I'll be safe and put a few stop. Oh yeah, dude, if you can't babysit, stop loss for sure. That's not financial advice, but I would do a stop loss personally. Ray said the volume looking good on much if everything. If the Asian markets are bullish, that's effing great. Philly said, Gourmet, I wanted to ask you, how is the city? I've been wanting to go back to cycle again. Unsure how F Manhattan is. Taco man. When the 10-year hits 475, I'm a taco man. Honestly, that might be the greatest long indicator. Japan is open. Japan yield on 40-year JG falls. Let's go. Talking medium term. Volume is looking good. Yep. Okay. Derek sets up dudes. If many tokens come down some, they mimic, some would say. Yeah, Sol and ETH crushed it today. Very impressed, especially with how they're holding up still. Usually, like, if these moves are unprecedented or unfounded, then they usually come right back down, but they're holding up very nicely. This is a big deal. U.S. Treasury doubling size long-term U.S. government debt buybacks. Huge. It's official. On July 31st, we called for the U.S. government intervention as long-term borrowing costs hit 2008 levels. Today, it happened. The U.S. Treasury is doubling buybacks to $4 billion per operation for liquidity support. It's minimum $4 billion as well. What comes next? Let us explain. Let's check out the thread. On July 31st, 30-year note rose to 5.27%, the highest level since 2007. Officially marks a 450 basis point rally since the low seen in 2020 pandemic. Even as the Fed kept interest rates paused at the July meeting, it did nothing. Yields just kept climbing. But why? First, we began the year with the market expectations for 3 rate cuts in 2026. This quickly shifted to 2 rate hikes expected in 2026. Expectations shifted for rates to be 125 higher in a matter of months. The 2025 global rate cut cycle came to a halt. As the Iran war drove oil prices to 100 plus per barrel, inflation expectations hit 5% by November. This left the Fed with no option but to halt rate cuts and begin considering rate hikes. Month-over-month inflation in March and April came in at 0.9% and 0.6% respectively. Today, oil prices are well below their recent highs but remain 55% above pre-war levels. Furthermore, Fed expectations have shifted toward a continued pause through the end of 2026. Meanwhile, yield keeps on pushing higher amid record deficit spending and inflation worries. Today's intervention by the U.S. Treasury is notable. Treasury buybacks work by repurchasing older, less liquid bonds, by giving investors a steady buyer while new debt issuance continues. The goal is to improve liquidity and ease upside yields. In other words, they blinked. This also marks the second most notable bond market intervention by the Trump administration. In April 2025, President Trump said he was watching the bond market when he decided to announce his 90-day tariff pause. The 10-year note yield is now above the peak seen then. Take a look at the wording of today's press release. The doubling of buybacks to $4 billion per operation is in effect from September 9th through November 4th. However, the Treasury says it will provide more information about future buybacks on November 4th. We expect more intervention. The reality is that the U.S. government needs lower interest rates more than anyone. Over the last 12 months, the U.S. spent $1.4 trillion on interest alone. By November 2028, this is expected to hit $1.7 trillion per year. Borrowing costs have more than doubled since 2020. The U.S. debt servicing costs to simply stop going up. For U.S. debt service, okay, to simply stop going up, the U.S. 5-year needs to fall to 3.25%. This means a 110-point drop would simply keep the U.S. at $1.4 trillion in annual interest costs. The bond market has arguably become the most important long-term fundamental to watch. Lastly, mortgage rates are back on the rise, and we expect new record lows in housing affordability. Without further intervention, we expect 7% plus mortgage rates. The era of free money has come to an end. That is depressing. Okay, if anyone said anything that they want me to see, say it again. What's going on, Waterfly? Bitcoin extends gains to rise above $70,000 for the first time since June 2nd, and leveraged short liquidations hit $2.7 billion in the last 24 hours. That's pretty sick. Ray said, holy shit, I just saw the poll. I picked the zombies. President Trump is set to reduce tariffs on automobiles imported from Canada from 25 to 15 as part of a broader trade deal with the country. Details include the current imposed 25% for non-U.S. content of vehicles produced in Canada. Same content provision will apply to the new 15% rate. U.S. and Canadian negotiators have reportedly discussed whether to widen the exemption to include additional content, though no firm decision to do so has been reached. The U.S.-Canada trade deal appears to be materializing. Wow. Derek said, I hope Bitcoin goes to 1 million. That would be so sick. That would be so sick. Gold and silver added a combined 1.3 trillion in market cap after the U.S. Treasury announced this morning, or the U.S. Treasury's announcement this morning, the Fed can no longer contain yields and the U.S. government cannot afford higher yields. Asset owners will be the only winners. President Trump announces the most crushing economic operation ever taken against any country on Iran. He says the country that does business with Iran will face tremendous economic consequences. This is economic D-Day, President Trump says. Whoa, oh my gosh. Marty Party posted his idea for the hype narrative. At a White House event on August 19th, 2026, President Trump stated that the efforts are underway to bring Hyperliquid to the United States in a fully compliant and legal way. The precise remark, as reported by The Block and consistent with video/transcripts from the remarks with technology and crypto leaders, was, I understand Mike Selig is also working to bring Hyperliquid to the United States in a fully compliant and legal fashion. Very cool. I think that that's the ultimate telltale sign that we're going to get some form of Clarity Act, probably through the CFTC or maybe even the SEC, rather quickly, I'm assuming. Marty Party said, told you the basket is Bitcoin, Sol, SWI, hype. This is funny to me because I agree with everything except for SWI. Everything in this list did phenomenal except SWI. SWI was very underwhelming. I would much rather take that money and put it into hype or Sol or Bitcoin. SWI, this was mediocre at best compared to everything else. 7% versus Solana, you know, getting 10, 12%. Hype, I think, did like over 20. And Bitcoin, it's just a safer bet. Yeah, Hype did 20%. Bitcoin, oof, my gosh, 8%. Even Bitcoin outperformed SWI. So that's the only one that I disagree with. Based on technology, adoption, and teams. He also gave us a very rare Wyckoff update. Exciting stuff, guys, exciting stuff. Very basic, but I like it. I'll take it, I'll take it. We're looking for a potential 90K. This is looking like September 25th, maybe. Man, wouldn't that suck if, like, October 1st we hit 90,000? That would make me so mad. I said this a rule for the 4-year cycle. True inflation, daily US CPI is 2.33% year over year, up 0.03. 1.19 billion liquidated from the crypto market in the past hour, including 1.1 billion in shorts. I believe it has reached 2.7 before the end of the day. Derek said SWI will have its day. I would just rather put my money elsewhere. I was a SWI guy for a little bit. I think they had a chance. I think they fumbled it. I would much rather just stick with Solana at this point. Or hype. Billy said, I love that trail. Okay. OCC says, final Genius Act rule coming by November. Very cool. Matt Cole says the dollar downtrend could continue and investors are not bullish enough on Bitcoin. Hell yeah. Tom Lee backs Vlad Tenev's tokenization supercycle thesis, saying tokenization and agentic AI could transform finance and benefit crypto. I feel like there's too many buzzwords now. There's RWA, there's tokenization, there's agentic AI. What are the other ones? There's oh man, what were the old crypto buzzwords? Let me go to CoinMarketCap. Oh, hey, we're back. All right. Just a quick rug, no big deal. We've got rehypothecated crypto. No idea what that is. Meme coins. AI and big data. Rare world assets. Gaming. DePIN. Robinhood memes. Political memes. Those are just random miscellaneous categories, whatever. There's so many buzzwords, though. Perpdex. That's a buzzword. Perpdex. There's like yield-bearing stablecoins, layer 1, layer 2, sidechain. Too much. ISO, IPO, derivatives. Remember when derivatives were a big deal? What else? What was the big one? There was, for some reason, supply chain was a big one. Do you remember supply chain? RealFi? Yeah, RealFi is a new one. Charles made that up. Tokenization, yep. All that stuff, man. There's too many buzzwords. It's just overwhelming. Like, you could just, literally, you could make a buzzword salad at this point. The Federal Reserve has released the minutes from its July FOMC meeting. Several officials favored a rate hike, while many said further tightening may be needed if inflation does not decline. Okay. OpenAI pledges not to retain business data as it rolls out new multi-interaction safety technology. Trump says he will meet with AI leaders next week. Clarity Act is moving toward the finish line. CFTC ready to implement it once signed. Very cool. Is it moving? How is it moving toward the finish line? Are they not on recess? That supply chain metaverse, dude. VeChain switched to everything. They literally migrated to every buzzword, whatever was popular at the time. Privacy. I forgot about privacy. That's how good privacy is. It's so private that I forgot about it. Sound in and out. You probably gotta refresh the stream rug for a second. Everybody else's sound good? I will keep talking. I'm just going to keep talking, and if it's bad, let me know. Trump says the U.S. has discussed accumulating sizable amounts of Bitcoin and crypto. CZ jokes that his yearly Horizon advice aged well in just 5 hours after Bitcoin rapid pump. 7 hours, or at the time, it was 7 hours prior. He said, if you want the you 2 years later to appreciate what you did today, then not calling any bottoms. What? But try to adopt a yearly horizon. Complete coincidence if you want the you 5 hours later to appreciate you. Oh, why would he phrase it that way? If you want the you 2 years later to appreciate what you did today. I don't know. I can't. He's on some other kind of medication. Bitcoin surged to 70K, triggering $2.5 billion in short liquidations over 24 hours. Wrecked. Thank you, Waterfly. U.S. national debt interest expense hit a record $1.4 trillion over the past 12 months per Bank of America. First time Bank of America is just reciting facts instead of making up gibberish. Grayscale says new SEC crypto rules could unlock more token fundraising in the U.S. and boost major networks. Very cool. Mr. Mark Chadwick, breaking crypto is pumping. Bitcoin approaching 69,000 and the rest are following. Is something big going to be announced today at the White House meeting? We shall see. We've got Ronald Carter posting, here's what actually caused Bitcoin to explode to 69.7. Everyone is looking at the Bitcoin candle, but the move started in a completely different market. U.S. Treasury bonds. The Treasury just doubled the size of its long-term bond buyback program. Old maximum $2 billion per operation, new at least $4 billion. Targets 10 to 20 and 20 to 30 year Treasury bonds start September 9th through November 4th. It's simple, or in simple words, the Treasury is offering more support to the market for long-term U.S. government debt. And that matters because Treasury yields are basically the return investors can get from holding government bonds. When those yields fall, risky assets like Bitcoin usually become more attractive. And look what happened right after the announcement. 10-year yield minus 6 basis points to 4.647. 30-year minus 9 basis points to 5.196. Then Bitcoin moved. 65.4 at 10:45 a.m. 67.6 1 hour later, less than an hour, like 40 minutes later. 69.7 just a minute after that. Jeez. Whoa, that's crazy. Bitcoin gained more than 2,000 in 1 minute. The move trapped traders betting against Bitcoin as leveraged shorts were liquidated. They were forced out of their positions, creating even more buying. The result, 1.59 billion in liquidations over 20. It's more than that actually now. 746 million in Bitcoin shorts reportedly wiped out in 1 minute candle. So the chain reaction was simple. Treasury expands bond buybacks, long-term yields fall, Bitcoin pumps, shorts get liquidated, forced buying sends Bitcoin even higher. One important correction. This is not quantitative easing. The Fed did not turn on the money printer. Treasury is buying back existing government bonds to improve liquidity in the market, and the size is still small compared to how much debt the U.S. issues. But the timing matters. The bond market moves first, Bitcoin followed, then the short squeeze turned into an explosion. Everyone is showing you the green candle. Almost nobody's talking about what happened right before. September 9th is now the date to watch. Ooh. When money printer. We've got Crypto Fragani. Here we go. Bitcoin will never trade below $60,000 again. Mark my words. Crypto Forgani, ladies and gentlemen, give the guy a round of applause. Derek said, I can't wait to see what Crypto Forgani says. Never below 60K again, is what he said. Ray said, what do you guys think about the bond yield? Big jump. I have a theory, but it's bearish AF. This guy thinks he's Neo of the market. Ronald Carter. I don't even know who he is. I would assume he's some kind of politician based on his picture, but I don't know, man. Never heard of him before today. Bar chart posted sugar soars the highest price since May 2025. Halloween canceled. South Korean stocks taking a big fat dump. Private credit percentage of loans from borrowers that have stopped paying or are on the brink of default is at its highest level in a decade. That's pretty dang spicy. Pending home sales falls to second lowest level in history. Whoa. I might be buying a house soon, actually. That's not even a joke. I'm pretty excited. Philippine peso hits all-time low against the US dollar. China just saw its largest monthly decline in bank loans in at least the last 6 years. Wow. Moderna soars 150%, its best day in history after a cancer vaccine showed potential for preventing recurrence of melanoma. Bitcoin on track for its first green August during a midterm election year in history. Looks like it's first green August ever. There's been like 2 in the past. Jeez. Gold back above its 200-day moving average for the first time in 10 weeks. Very cool. Greed returns to the stock market. Congrats, everyone. We did it. US dollar 15-year trend line, now or never. This is what we've been talking about, man. April 2011 to now. We got a fake out below it before. You can kind of see there's a potential inverse head and shoulder going on here. Looks like it's rejected, though, man. I don't know. It's hard to tell. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what happens. All right, we've got our coin confessions. Since 2021, I've been bleeding money in the market while working in crypto full time. From 2025 highs, my net worth collapsed by more than 2/3. Meanwhile, my marriage fell apart. Not because my partner cared about the money, but because I have become unbearable, ignoring any other aspect of life while trying to make it back over the past few years. At this point, I'm in so deep, my only hope is for majors go back up so I can buy financial freedom and start rebuilding my life. Guys, don't let your life fall apart, man. Guess what? After a certain amount of time, you can just ignore the market. The whole idea is for you to make money easily. If you are putting all of your extra time into this and not making money, then you should take a step back, take a look, and realize how much time you're wasting. Start thinking about money in terms of time. It should not take you this much time to lose money. If you're losing money, you need to reevaluate. Put that time towards something more productive, maybe. Not financial advice, but just consider what's going on. Definitely don't ruin your life over it. Had 70% of my portfolio in Dentacoin in late 2017, almost full stacked. Terra ecosystem during 2021, even stabled on USTC, saw 2 million come and go in the span of 5 years, skipped 2024 run, now running it back again with 4 figures on prediction markets, all on the exact same computer I started trading with 10 years ago. Damn. 10 years is pretty epic. 10-year-old computer. I got my my 2011 MacBook Pro up in the cupboard. I might bring that out one day just to show it off. Dentacoin? I don't know. I've never heard of Dentacoin either. It was late 2017, so who knows. I ran up $200 to 10K last month, but I lost it all. I'm effing dumb. At least he's self-aware. Feel good post of the day. We got a horse introducing himself to a dog, and the dog not knowing what the hell a horse is. Look at it, he's like, what is that? Oh my god, did you see that? We've got another horse. Absolutely mind blown. Flabbergasted. And a hot air balloon. They're pretty terrifying, I'm not gonna lie. Probably like we're being invaded. We've got a little piggy getting brushed. Adorable. Me on my day off. We've got unbothered cooling down, blowing bubbles. Horse chilling in looks like a lake. This makes me nervous. I feel like the horse would sink. Do horses float? We've got owls attacking. Owls are so sick, dude. I'm convinced that the Flatwoods monster was just an owl. It's a cryptid, a very prominent cryptid. That's so terrifying, dude. I would freak out if that happened to me. Oh, that's the last one. Great. We're ending it on an owl attack. Bitcoin 69,700, looking good. Pump is up 4.86%. Very nice. Anything else? Arrow's up 3.62. Whoa! Out of nowhere. Very nice. Total of 13 so far since the pump began. Very cool. Justin Crypto OG said I won 2K from him 2 weeks ago. Trying again. Crypto Face is back at it. I love the smell of in the morning. Make me laugh. Best answer gets 2,000 go. Oh, nice. Heck yeah. Alright. We've got Reddit. From the Confession subreddit. This one's pretty epic. I haven't paid an electricity bill in almost 2 years. This is posted by Healthy Wolf 701. I don't know how I've gotten away with it, but about 2 years ago, I moved into a new rental. After a couple of months, I realized I had completely forgotten to switch my electricity over, but the power was still on. I thought to myself, why not just leave it that way till the inevitable day that it gets shut off? Well, it's been almost 2 years and nothing. No letters or anything. From my research, either the account holder, the homeowner, or the electricity company are responsible. Although it's hard to be sure, I know the day I come home to my fridge defrosting in the dark house will suck, but at this point it's worth the money I've saved. This just made me happy, because I think the electric company is a scam anyways. But I'm assuming the landlord is paying for it. There's no way the previous tenant's paying for it, unless they just rented out like a million things and it's just one of the things that they take off, but damn. Previous rental, the owner presented me with the internet bill of 2 years of internet. He paid, but never said a word about, so beware. Oh, dang. This is freaking hilarious. Same thing for me, but with gas. I didn't realize I had to pay gas because everywhere else I had lived, everything was just electric. After 3 years, the gas company knocked on my door. That's how I found out I had gas for heating. How do you not know, man? Luckily, the guy told me to call up the company and just tell them I just moved in. Gas company ended up eating the past bills because I just moved in and it was their fault. The previous tenant never got a bill. Ooh, that's a good one. Heck yeah. 88's probably reading this. He's probably like, wait a minute. I thought my electric bill was a lot higher than it should be. All right. Am I the asshole for leaving my friend at a concert after she disappeared with a guy? Have not read this one yet. Posted by Advance Equal 9062. My friend, 19 female, and I, 18 female, went to a concert together last weekend. It was about an hour from where we live, and we agreed beforehand that we were sticking together and leaving together. Halfway through the concert, she started talking to this guy near us. I didn't really care and was doing my own thing, but eventually I realized they were both gone. I texted her asking where she was. Nothing. I called her twice. Nothing. After 20 minutes, she finally texted me saying she was outside with him and to stop worrying about her. I asked if she was coming back because the concert was almost over. She said, I don't know, probably. Concert ends, still no sign of her. I call her again and she declined it. I waited for almost 45 minutes while everyone was leaving. I texted her one last time saying I was leaving 10 minutes. If she didn't come back, nothing. So I left. About 30 minutes into my drive home, she started blowing up my phone asking where I was. Apparently the guy had left and she came back to where we were parked expecting me to still be there. She ended up having to call her mom to come get her. Now she's furious because we specifically agreed we wouldn't leave each other, especially being that far from home. I told her that agreement goes both ways. I'm not standing in an empty concert parking lot indefinitely because she disappeared with some guy and kept ignoring me. She says I should have never left without physically knowing she had a safe way home. I don't feel bad that her mom had to drive an hour to go get her, and I know girls are supposed to look out for each other in situations like that, but I also gave her multiple chances to come back. Am I the asshole? Edit. After reading your comments, I definitely agree that I could have called security or done more to make sure she was actually safe before I left. I was frustrated and upset in the moment because that shouldn't have been a problem in the first place. We specifically agreed to stay together because she is known to do things like this, and then she did exactly what I was worried she would do. And for everyone saying I could have called her mom, I couldn't. She had already been living on her own when I met her a year and a half ago. I have never met her parents, never spoken to them, and definitely don't have their phone numbers. I understand that 19 is young, but she is still a 19-year-old adult who has been living on her own for at least a year and a half. You would think someone in that position would make better decisions, and I honestly never thought I would need her mom's phone number in case she disappeared with a guy and stopped answering me. I can admit that I should have done more to confirm she was safe before leaving. I should have contacted security, and if I could go back, that's what I would do differently. But I also don't think it's unreasonable that in the moment I expected another adult to be responsible for their decisions she was making. Yeah, not the asshole. She ditched you and ignored you. Yeah, exactly. She fucked around and found out. Exactly. You can't demand someone wait indefinitely. Yeah, that's crazy. 45 minutes. She waited for 45 minutes and then an extra 10. An hour is too much, dude. That's insane. I can't imagine that. It is actually messed up, though. Classic fuck around, find out. Not the asshole. Exactly. I am curious, though. I would have assumed that the guy just kidnapped her and was texting. Stop worrying about me, you know? I would have been like, oh my gosh. My friend has been abducted, you know? I don't know. Why are people always snitching on themselves, right? Laughing at him. What are you talking about? Oh, that's too good. That's too good. All right. Let's continue. This is another long one from Relationship Advice subreddit S-Class Snack. My partner, 30, male, wanted to be a provider. Clearly regrets it, but also doesn't want me, 25, female, to go back to work. Okay. So me, 25, female, and my partner, 30, male, have been dating for 10 months, living together for 3. I know we moved faster than the average couple. I don't know. Honestly, that's probably pretty average. But it made sense for us. He had brought up the idea of me quitting my job about 1.5 months before I actually did. This was because my 30-minute commute turned into a 60-minute commute due to me transferring locations, not my choice. My car had one foot in the grave. It wasn't even close to a high-paying job, so the commute was a bit ridiculous given I could get the same role much closer to home. Plus, we only have one car, my car, so he always had to cab to his job, 20-minute commute, which was not cheap. So why didn't he buy a car? So in conclusion, since he had a better paying, stable job and somehow was unable to buy a car for some reason, we agreed that I'd quit so he could use the car for his commute and that I'd look for something closer to home that works around his hours. That's a little sus. Well, 1 to 2 weeks after that, we found out that I was pregnant. Okay, you're moving a little faster. Now you're moving a little faster than most. Immediately, he told me to stop job searching and that he wanted me to just stay home and have a memorable, low-stress pregnancy. Okay, he sounds like a stand-up guy. I was hesitant because I never wanted to be a stay-at-home partner. I listened to the older women in my life, and I know the risks that come with putting your livelihood in a man's hands and that you should always have your own money. But unfortunately, by then, I was basically put on bed rest immediately, so I didn't feel like I had much of a choice. I tried looking for work from home jobs, but no luck. So I accepted the situation and decided to be grateful. Dude, I can't imagine working from home, like being pregnant, because they'd probably just expect you to work all the way through it. Ray said, what am I talking about? He got dumped so she can bang another guy. He's a dumbass, and she's a 304. I'm even more lost than I was prior. He's a punk. They were both females. The story that we read, they were both females at the concert. Is that what you're talking about? How the F you make 10K in a month and lose it? Degenerates. Oh, you talking about way earlier? Talking about the Coinfessions? Okay, I get it. Okay. It was fine for a bit, but he definitely switched up fast AF and started complaining a lot. It's clear he's bitter, and I get to stay at home and enjoy most of my time, even though he pushed for this. One time, we had a fight, and he said I pressured him into the situation, when that's just not true. The other day, I was driving, and he turned the music down in my car to park, just something I do to concentrate. Or, wait a minute. I was driving and turned the music down in my car to park, just something I do to concentrate, and he kept trying to turn it back on, and I did get an attitude about it because I was genuinely irritating, And so then he got an attitude as well and pulled the I pay the bills card. You okay, he sounds like an asshole now. Even today, before I wrote this, we FaceTimed while he was at work, which we do every day, and he asked what I ate. So I told him I had some pierogies, and he was annoyed that I didn't make any extra for him to take to work tomorrow. I proceeded to explain that I always offer to make him food to take to work, and 80% of the time he doesn't even touch the leftovers in the fridge and just wants ramen noodles. He said he doesn't want to have to ask. Mind you, every single day in the morning, he works afternoons, I ask if he wants me to make him anything to take to work. He had something he was just finding something to complain about. Literally just yesterday, he took leftover chicken and rice that I specifically made extra for him to take to work. So it's like, what are you even complaining about? It's like he just goes out of his way to complain about the most ridiculous things or non-existent issues to make me seem inconsiderate or ungrateful when I know that I'm not. Anyways, with all that being said, it's clear that even though he wanted this situation, he's over it and wants me to go back to work. And I agree, because I don't trust him to be a provider anyways. There's financial issues as well. Well, very clearly, he talked a big game and made it seem like he could easily afford this lifestyle, but it's obviously he can't, because I'm told I have to wait until next week or next month to buy certain things that are like $20. Oh God. Okay. He's like, babe, we gotta wait. My buy now pay later is capped right now. You know, I have a minimum $20 payment next week, and then we'll have $20 available on the credit card. He's like fully maxed out. That's crazy. I also want to note that we didn't have any of these issues before we agreed that I would quit my job and stay home. Our relationship was almost perfect, and I definitely wasn't expecting the switch up in his behavior. But I've dated abusive men before, and I genuinely don't think he's a bad guy. I think he just agreed to do something he couldn't handle, and it's stressing him out to the max, so he's always on edge now. I do think that once I go back to work, these problems will go away. Unfortunately, I'm currently going through a pregnancy loss, which I am devastated about, don't get me wrong, but also happy because now there's nothing stopping me from getting a job. But it's like he wants to sabotage that or take me out of it. My last job offered to hire me back even at the closer location, but he said absolutely not because my car can't handle a 30-minute commute. The other day I told him I was going to apply to a job at the mall and a different place 10 minutes down the street. Now he's saying no because he's absolutely not paying for cabs again and needs my car. So what am I to do? It's obvious he wants me to work somewhere within walking distance from home so that he can keep using my car to get to work. Why doesn't he just pay for the cab for the first 2 weeks and then you can pay him back and start paying? That's so weird. That's weird. Is he really that broke? That sounds crazy to me. My question to you guys is, how do I navigate this conversation in the most gentle way possible, knowing he's not going to like what I have to say? I think you have to not be gentle. I think that's the problem. You just have to tell him, I'm going to get a job. You're either going to need to let me use the car, or you're going to have to pay for a cab for me for the first 2 weeks, and then I can start paying for it afterwards. You wanted to provide? This is how you provide. It's just an investment, because after that we'll have money. That's ridiculous. He's being ridiculous. I acknowledge that this is really expensive and inconvenient for him to cab to work while we save up for another car, but I also need him to understand that it's still my car, and I'm not okay with him nitpicking my job search based on what's most convenient for him. Then tell him that. Just tell him that. Girl, what? You dated abusive men before, and you genuinely don't believe he's a bad guy? Well, let me tell it to you straight. He is. It's your car. Pack your stuff and get in and drive away. Literally like the pregnancy loss, I'm sorry, but also literally a blessing not tied to this man who is using you. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Any money he tampered with her birth control or promised to pull. Oh, ooh, I don't know about that. I don't think that he did that. That's a little too much. Some people on Reddit are a little crazy. Isn't it? I'm pretty sure that there's that lady that, like, allegedly pretty positive, like, it's proven that she, like, killed her children. And there's, like, an army of women on TikTok that have, like, raised, like, over $100,000 for her because they think that the husband did it. And the reason they think the husband did it is because he looks mean. That is the only reason. There's literal, like, proof that this lady killed these kids. And they're like, the husband looks mean. I think she did it. Let's raise money for this bitch's commissary. It's insane. It's the most insane thing I've ever seen in the entire world. Blows my mind. So yeah, sometimes people on the internet are retarded. What do we think? I was thinking earlier about the financial abuse thing, and I don't know. I think we should make financial abuse shirts, like financial abuse survivor, some crap. Derek said, the thing about these kinds of posts, you are always only getting one side of the story. Who knows what else is actually going on that she leaves out? I can tell all the writing, and she's capping. What? I don't think she's capping. I think he's just kind of a goofball. A good man that realized too late this offer and lifestyle is not suitable would say, babe, I know I suggested this, but it's not really working out, and we'll have to change the plans. I think he has a drug problem. If he has a good paying job, supposedly the higher paying job, and they have no money, it sounds like he has a substance problem. Try to blame you, avoid responsibility, blah, blah, blah. Sorry, but all of those are very red flags. Yeah, it definitely sounds like he has some issues he's got to work out for sure. I don't know. I got no opinion on the matter, honestly. It sounds like they're both idiots. She shouldn't have quit her job. And was she really pregnant? Is that offensive? I don't know. 69,532 on Bitcoin. From Confessions, I went on a date with a girl I have been talking to for weeks. Turns out it was an escort. This title intrigued me. It seems like a long post, but it is what it is. Maybe he has another apartment with the boys. Exit liquidity survivor. We got to do something with financial abuse, man. Financial abuse is like... it's just top tier. He probably makes $30 as a mechanic and she works at Sephora. That's probably exactly what it is. That's probably exactly what it is, because she was talking about the mall and a closer location. She probably does work at Sephora. Holy shit. That's brilliant. Dang. Here's my question, though. She worked for $30. If she was making like minimum wage at Sephora and bought herself a car, what is he spending his money on that he doesn't have a car? And how can the car can survive, let's say, 3 10-minute commutes, but it can't survive one 30-minute commute? My guy, that don't make no sense. Does the tire, like, deflate after the first 11 minutes? What's going on? I don't know. I think this guy's a goofball. Or I said I'd be listening, JJ. That is probably exactly what it is, man. Alright. I matched with a girl on a dating app a few weeks back. Pretty early, she said she wanted something casual, short term. I straight up asked her if she was a hooker. Wait, what? Can you ask people that? I straight up asked her if she was a hooker. She said no. I believed her. Why would I not? I'm confused. Why would he ask her that? She's like, I just want something casual, short term. And he goes, are you a hooker? There's no money exchanged. Like, did she ask for money? Oh my gosh, she said no. I believed her. Why would I not? Well, why would you even ask that, though? There had to have been something that prompted the question. One reason we clicked was I speak the language of her country. Oh God, here we go. She said it was rare to meet someone here who could actually talk to her in her own tongue. That felt real. Not something you'd expect from a paid thing. Hopefully she's not from, what is it? Is it Taiwan? Thailand. Hopefully she's not from Thailand. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Okay. She said it was, okay, yep. Not something you'd expect from a paid thing. After that, we talked a lot. Phone calls, video calls, personal stuff. She asked about my family. I told her about my pet, my life, all of it. She told me she travels a lot, and she was just on holiday in my town, but will come back because she is implementing a business here that failed in the country she's normally from. It really felt genuine. We'd met once before in person, and I thought there was something there. He thought that there was something there, like mutually, or thought that there was something there? Mr. Roberts just said balls. Oh God. Okay. Chat. Out of context chat is the greatest. Okay. Second time we met, she made me wait almost 2 hours. During that wait, she'd stop picking up the phone for 30 plus minutes at a time, saying stuff like she slept or she's getting ready. When we finally met, dinner was mostly me talking. She barely engaged. Oh, God. At the end of the night, after weeks of no, I don't charge, she just told me straight up she doesn't give it for free and named a price. I was a little high at the time, and my judgment wasn't great. I negotiated her down and went through with it anyway. Oh, no. What? That's crazy. During her phone wouldn't stop. Earlier, when figuring out the room, she said she couldn't cross to a certain street because her people were there. Family or church people, she said, which didn't even match the rest of her story. She had already told me before the date, and she had someone else to see after, but never said where. Then, when we were separating after, I helped her cross that exact street, and she just pointed at a hotel right there and said, I'm going there. Felt crazy. That was the same street she said she couldn't cross earlier. At some point during the night, I also saw a contact on her phone saved as Tinder date. Oh my God. This is insane. The sex itself was intense, like a porn star experience. Okay. Jumping. What the hell? She seemed like she really enjoyed every bit. Well, you paid for it, my guy. You get what you pay for. This is icky. Ray said this is icky. I agree. I couldn't stop wondering the whole time if it was even true. I ended up dissociating mid and just faked. Oh my God. At the end, she asked me my name again. She caught herself and remembered it a second after, but it felt weird after everything was supposedly built. She spent close to $350 all in between the date, the room, and everything. That actually sounds kind of cheap. I'm not gonna lie. I don't actually know what was going on with her. Maybe she's just a working girl who was high and messy that night. Maybe it's worse. Like, not fully in control of her own situation. Oh, geez, that's actually super dark. I have no way of knowing, and honestly, that's messing with me more than the money. Not knowing is worse than a clean, bad answer would have been. I've deleted her number and the whole chat since. Didn't want the option sitting there. That's so messed up, dude. If I'm being real, there was a point that night before any of this where I could have just paid for the food and left. Something already felt off before the price even came up. That's so crazy that they do that. That's like entrapment. Why fake finishing if he paid for it? What a waste. I don't know, man. It's like she just started overperforming. He was probably got in his head. He was probably like, what's going on here? I know I'm not this good. He was a little too intellectual. He said he was a little high. Maybe he's sobered up by that point. Oh, man. It had been a long time since I had any real intimacy, and she'd been teasing me the whole night. So that won over the part of me that knew something was wrong, not proud of it, just being honest. After I messaged her about testing, she said negative. Still feel disgusting. Yeah, you probably would. Not really because of her just doing her job, I guess, but because I let myself go so deep into wanting it to be real that I didn't see it. Or maybe I saw it and didn't want to admit it. This is messed up, dude. Too cheap. I can fill up my health chart. Can she? Not worth it. You better have been strapped up. Yeah, hopefully. Let's see. I keep spiraling into I'll never be loved for real. I have to pay for any version of intimacy I get. I know it's not rational, but it's loud right now. This isn't really a one-off for me. I've had a pattern of years of over-investing in women, money, time, effort, and getting little back. Well, then maybe this was the best ROI. Jesus. Grew up the weird kid, never really picked anyone growing up. Never really got picked by anyone growing up. First real experience, intimacy with somebody, only got close. I had money, resources to offer, set a pattern I didn't see for a long time, got overextended. Hope it earns something back. I had a 2-year situationship where I was treated like a boyfriend without ever being called one, spent on dates, blah, blah, blah. Actually, there's a fee. Yeah, actually, there's a fee is crazy. Always going for people hard to get, telling myself it's just hard enough to spend enough. I'll finally get chosen back. Okay, this got sad. Anyone been through something like this? How'd you actually process it? I think he needs to just move to a city. Second date, it was red flags all over. Ted Mosby. Don't be Ted Mosby. Yeah, I think he just needs to move to a city, man. I think that there's a woman for everybody. Some chicks like all different kinds of people. You just got to move to a city where there's a large quantity and someone will choose you. Mr. Roberts said, JJ, can you please look at the 200-day simple moving average crossing under the 200 week back on November 6, 2022? The setup this year is very similar. The dive in price there after the cross in 2022 is an idea I'm taking forward. I get that everyone and their grandparents are calling for an October low, but it's a confluence worth taking a look at. I would send the charts, but Discord is asking me for revalidation, and I can't be bothered. Okay. That might be my fault. The revalidation might be my fault because of all of the scammers. I took a trace of the 2022 crossing and put it on this year's potential crossing, and the tip lines up around early October. Maybe that's just the last flush to shake today's buyers out of a position. Okay, so you're talking Bitcoin. Let me go to a clean Bitcoin chart because it's messy. Very, very messy. This is, oh my gosh, do we have an actual clean chart here? Very clearly didn't play out. Is it going to play out right here? That'd be crazy, wouldn't it? Actually, don't mind that. Unfortunately, it would put us in October. All right. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. And we're looking for moving averages. You said 200-day simple moving average and 200-week. I don't know if I can do both of those. No, they want me to pay. Okay, let me get rid of the RSI and then I think I can do it. Okay. All right, we'll go to the weekly. Yeah. All right, can I copy? I'm actually literally just gonna, is this crazy if I trace this? This might be really dumb. I apologize for how stupid this seems. And then I'm just gonna, yeah, I want it all to be one solid shape. Okay. So in theory, let's see. Okay, it stretches too. This actually might work out. This might be the craziest thing I've ever done. All right, I'm gonna draw. Nope. And this one. And I'm gonna get rid of that. So we're looking for that cross early October, just like you said. And then the cross back in May of 27. So then price action wise, what would that give us? So right at this intersection, and we get something like this. That intersection, right at the intersection. Let me go back, hang on. Right at the intersection. Okay, so that's about where it crosses over. Okay, so in theory, the price could do something like this. You're thinking flush out, and that does line up with that. No, it doesn't actually. Timeline-wise, this would put us in December for a flush. That's it right there. Peace, fish. Peace, gourmet. Take it easy, gourmet. Who's fish? What's the time of the top? The top this time around was, looks like September, October. It was October, like everyone called. Time of the last one. All right, let's do this. This is 1,428 days, top to top. So wait a minute. 2021, 2022, 364 days. So all-time high to all-time low. Let's see if that's actually true. 364 days. Yeah, that's right there. Okay, that's actually quite impressive. So then we go from that point. That is supposed to be, it says 1071. It can either be 1057, 64, or 71. Let's go 64 because I think it's 64, isn't it? Yes, it is. There's no way. Looks like the born again symbol. What, the fish? Bitcoin born again, right? I saw it true. Ithacus. I kind of like how it seems to bounce off of the trend line right here. Oh god, I gotta change this color back. That's gonna mess with me. Baby blue. Okay. Yeah, there's a definite bounce right there. I don't know, man. What do we think? Is it? Are we extending to 5 years? Doesn't quite seem like it right here. I guess the problem that I have with that, though, is that it says all-time high to all-time low, and we definitely went lower. Went lower right here. So there's definitely like 2-3 weeks in there where it's wrong. If you go from all-time high to all-time low, technically this is 378 days. But I get it, you know, it's like a... There's some semantics within the window, I suppose. What are we thinking? Are we thinking 150 by November of 2028? That'd be pretty sick, right? Getting struck by lightning is lucky, right? Maybe they'll get such special powers. We're inventing a new TNA symbol, right? I like TNA. Technical and analysis. No extension to 5 years is in the theory, just the market. Yeah, no, this is my junk. this is my crap on here. Bitcoin shortened cycles, 6 months or so. Bitcoin extended 5+. Yeah, who knows what conversation that was from. I'm gonna leave this on here because that's interesting. Those are. I'm gonna get rid of the indicators though because I gotta pull the RSI back up. RSI, bam. Man, remember this? Remember this? Good times. Good times. Classic. Gosh, why is this chart such a freaking mess? Holy cow. So far, who was right on the bottom? Closest without going over? I think Dream Tanks. Yeah, I think Dream Tanks took it. With 53,527. Is that right? Or is going over technically that? I don't want to take it because this is probably my 18th guess. So if that's not it, then I think it would be Gourmet. With 74.5. That's for crypto winter specifically, not bear market. Lunar's still MIA. Luna, wherever you may be. We need your insight. All right, Bitcoin 69,366, 170K in 2 years. Let's see if it happens, man. I'm excited. Okay, from Poverty Finance, posted by Hunter Do 220. I'm a 30-year-old loser. Should I join the military? I work a dead-end warehouse job. I have a college degree in business, but it's pretty worthless. I make around 42K a year. I have 27K in student loans and 3,000 in credit card debt. That went to collections, so my credit is effed. If you're making 42K a year, what are you spending all your money on? Yeah, I don't know. Starting to feel like there's no economic opportunities for younger people anymore. I mean, when you give up, you give up. Join the fire department or work for Costco. Yeah, those are good ones. I've seen actual losers. They don't even have dead-end job. You should try to use your degree or apply some federal or city government jobs. At 30, you would be the old guy in basic. I would suggest looking up physical fitness requirements for your age and start working on them if you're considering it. 42 is the elder. But yeah, if you aren't fit, I'd start now. No, not at all. I was 18 in basic. There were 40-year-olds who smoked all of us physically, but he was fit before he enlisted. Nice. JJ gets the shed reference. Gourmet wins the moldy cheeseburger. In honor of your high, I'm going to the shed. Be right back. I do. Personally, doesn't sound like you have a dead-end job. That 42K is pretty decent, especially in this economy. And it far outweighs your student loans. You know, you got 30K in debt. That 3K in collections you can pay off pretty quick. Your credit's not hard to come back from. I've done it personally. after having a repossession as well. It's up to you if you want to join the military. Joining the military gives you structure. It sounds like maybe you need structure. So maybe it'll be a good thing. But yeah, definitely do the physical, check the physical requirements. Just make sure you're not crazy. Okay, this is from the bedroom subreddit. This was randomly on the feed. And I was like, what the hell is this? And I clicked on it, and the pictures actually look sick. Like, this looks cool. This angle, I'm 50-50 on the angle. But the posters on the wall, awesome. And then, where is it? I think this specifically. This kind of sold it for me. This awesome, the TV and the bed with, like, no extra space. Could you imagine watching a movie here? That would be so freaking awesome. And the slanted, I like the dormer. I like the slanted ceiling. Or slanted wall. I don't know, man. I was digging it. I was clicking through this. I was like, this is sick. Like, this is a sick setup. I'm jealous. 42K is pretty thin in this economy, JJ, especially in a big city. He didn't say where he lives, though. If he doesn't live in a big city, 42K is pretty decent. Let's see. 42K. That's about $3,500 a month. Rent, what is that? 33%. So he can afford below average rent. But $3,500 a month, I don't see why you can't, especially if you're single, man. I don't know. At $3,500 a month, you should not be having $3,000 in credit card debt getting sent to collections. Something's wrong. Maybe, like, I'm assuming he left some stuff out. Probably has a gambling addiction or something stupid. Just gonna work on stuff, man. Find something to fill your time with. Play video games or something. A lot of people are just bored, dude. I feel like that's probably the majority of the time that's the case. People just get bored. Remember to take out taxes. That's true, that's true. If you make under a certain income, though, you get most of it back. If you have a kid, you get a lot back. But make sure you actually want the kid. Look at Pump, dude. Pump's up 7.49%. Very nice. Very nice. I'm so excited that the market actually moved today. This is a market move right here. None of this, like, choppy, boring. Everyone's like, oh my gosh, did you see Solana went up 5%? Who cares? I'm looking for them double digits, baby. We're finally getting to, like, actual market moving territory. Finally. 42K is thin in this economy, but I've supported a family of 3 on less in the past with no struggle. Like, there was definitely paycheck to paycheck, but I've never struggled to keep the lights on or keep the fridge and cupboards full, you know what I mean? You just gotta know what you're doing. Okay. This is from the Bitcoin subreddit, posted by Augustine's Conversion. Bear market is over. All the signs were there. I feel sorry for the cycle bros who are waiting for 40K. It turns out that fractals of past candles are not a good reference for how price will move in the future. There will still be people in this thread unironically defending the notion that we get a 20% dump in the next 2 months. Edit, eat shit bears. I'm sure 40K will be right around the corner. Ooh. I like it, I like it. Ray said, JJ, my thesis on Bitcoin crypto is simple. If we fully recover last month's candle, we're off to the races. If not, we will consolidate more. The range will be big, though. I hate big ranges. I denounce your thesis because of what you just said about big ranges. Everything else, though, I agree with. Whether it ultimately unfolds as being back or not back, I don't know why so many of you people are willing to embarrass yourselves declaring the unknowable as fact. It's too early to say anything. Bull traps are common. Well, clearly this guy's... Every single time Bitcoin moves at all, people claim we're back or Bitcoin is dead. Just shut the F up. I mean, God forbid people say anything on the internet. On the flip side, at least they have conviction on a stance. Saying it can go up or down is basically saying nothing, but using 6 extra words. That's true. My conviction is long-term up. Short-term conviction is a fool's errand, unless you are in the 1% who's actually good at the shit. And I see no sign that OP... It's a currency and you're talking about a conviction on a stance. This is a religion and quite possibly the dumbest one. Well, the religion has made me truckloads of money and still does. I pray at that altar every day. Hell yeah. See you at noon when we're back at 63K. JK, let's rock. Hell yeah, that's awesome. I love it. I love it, man. Let's just check. Let's just check. See if there's anything here. It's been far too long, my friend. 2021, Bitcoin 62,684. 2026, Bitcoin 62,684. Yeah. Advice needed, sell. Easy come, easy go. Down 3.2 on my Bitcoin short. I genuinely feel like throwing up right now. Oh no. Sucks to suck. You know what? I'm going to say it. I'm a gold and silver investor, but I'm happy for you guys too. Today was a good day, and the Fed, get the hell out of here. This, you cannot use this meme this way. Downvote. The bear market is over. You are here, right? That's what I was thinking, man. I was like, man, are you guys ready? Let's take a look. It's been a long time. Remember, we have 4 portfolios. I think 3 of them were $1,000. One of them was $500. Let's take a look at our portfolios. Now that Bitcoin is back and all these other projects pumped, let's take a look at our portfolios. The 1K to 10K Grok portfolio, which, believe it or not, started with $1,000, is still down 666%. Or not, 66%. $666. What's going on, Joe D. Aspen? Near is still in the lead, down less than 50, which is impressive. Sol is about 50. Proppy holding up. Proppy has been a good investment, man. Aptos, rock bottom. Somehow, ADA's outperforming the bottom too, which is crazy. Next, the meme coin portfolio, another $1,000 investment, down 80% still. Wow, that's crazy. It was worse. It was worse. It's slightly less worse now. Bottom, Jesus, good lord. Snag is just garbage. Doge, holding up very nicely. Then, the narrative portfolio. This was a $500 investment, so this is not nearly as bad off as you would think. It is 35.4% of the initial investment. So it's down 64.6%. Tau is leading it here with a 30% dump. Pepe 60, Mana 75, Fetch 78, VeChain 83. Wow. And then the knife catching portfolio, another $1,000 portfolio. Is this one the best off? Interesting. So this is the one that we very, very carefully curated with the chat over time. Chainlink leading, only down 30%. Very nice. ETH also pretty much, well, 40. Sol is at down 50. Ondo is down 52. Render's down 57. Crow is down 58. Pith is down, what is that, 63? No, 73. Sui is down 78. Avalanche is down 81. And the graph is down 85. Got a DCA in those, JJ? Well, the whole point is to kind of milestone it. We should make a 5th one soon, I think. I think I'm going to do a 12-hour soon. What do you guys think about a 12-hour live stream? Ray said, I bought more ADA today. I love Link, but I'm loaded, baby. ADA still at 2020 levels. ADA has a lot of value. You to me right now. ADA has a lot of value to me right now. Okay, I understand. I'm learning to read your guys' voice to text typos. All right, let's continue. Government Bitcoin is a scam, meanwhile other currencies, right? Exactly. US debt crosses 40. We are so back, up 7% in a day, reclaiming 70K. Objects and miracles when they appear. Hell yeah. All right. Cool. Cold card hacker seeing Bitcoin on my wallet. Man, that's pretty crazy. 21K. I was thinking about it. Because I called my mom when we were at 17K and I told her to buy and she ghosted me. I was thinking about it today. I'm like, like we all freak out that Bitcoin's only at like 60, 70K. It was at like 17K just a couple years ago. So that's pretty crazy. Only one who didn't have his render. All right. What's up, Mr. Robbers? Yeah, render is a Becker coin. Has Becker uploaded in a while, man? I miss Becker. Ray said, JJ, I appreciate your reading and comprehension skills. Are the sunglasses prescription? They actually are. So I normally, like, you guys give a shit. Normally I wear these. This is my daily, and I bought these. It was buy one get one. I buy my glasses online, and I was like, I'm gonna buy some sunglasses and wear them at work because I work outside a lot. I'm like, I'm gonna buy some sunglasses and wear them at work. So I buy them. They're freaking Ralph Lauren, like bougie prescription sunglasses. I get them and I put them on. I'm like, I can't wear these at work. They'll get ruined. So they've been in my glasses case for like 3-4 years, and I started streaming like 2 years ago. I was like, I'm gonna wear the sunglasses because the ring light's blinding me, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Ginger Masad. You know, I think my favorite thing about being a ginger is all the like studies that gingers feel no pain. I'm like, you're goddamn right I don't. Makes you feel good, doesn't it? Oh, delicious. Delicious coffee. Derek said, doing better now. We having a small pumpage. Absolutely. Okay. Malicious compliance posted by Thatcher79. Hotel told me cancellations had to be made in person, so I showed up 8 minutes before their deadline. A few years ago, I booked a small room for a weekend event about 2 hours from home. Plans changed several days before the trip, so I called to cancel. The employee told me they couldn't process cancellations by phone, and their policy required the person who made the reservation to come to the front desk with ID. I thought I'd misunderstood because that's insane for a hotel. I asked whether email would work, whether they could verify the card, anything. Nope, cancellation must be done in person before 6 p.m. the day prior to arrival. I asked them twice to confirm the deadline and wrote down the employee's name. Fine. The day before the reservation, I happened to have another reason to be in that area, so I adjusted my plans to walk into the hotel at 5:52 p.m. There was one employee at the desk and a line of about 6 people checking in. I went to the back and waited. At 5:59, I was still in line, so I politely called the hotel's front desk while standing about 15 feet away. The same employee answered, said, "Hi, I'm calling to cancel my reservation before 6. I'm currently standing in your lobby. Because your policy says I have to do it in person." She looked up at me, saw me holding my phone, and said cancellations couldn't be made by phone. So I understood and said that I was physically present with ID before the deadline. Just wanted the time documented because their check-in line was preventing me from reaching the desk. Apparently this required the manager. He came out irritated and told me that since it was now 6:04, technically I'd missed the cancellation window. I showed my call log, pointed at the security camera over the lobby, and reminded him that I had arrived before 6 specifically because their staff insisted I physically appear. He disappeared into the office, came back about 5 minutes later, and canceled it without a fee. Then, while I was still there, he told the employee that from now on they could accept cancellations by phone as long as the guest verified the reservation details and card. So I drove 2 hours to follow their stupid rule exactly, and apparently that was what finally convinced them their rule was stupid. That was pretty good. That policy is insane. Imagine if you're in another state or from another country, you might as well just call your card company to cancel it. Yeah, that's what they want. They just want people to be like, oh, whatever, and then forget about it. So this would be a chargeback that you'd win. The policy is predatory. Yeah, most things, if you don't get provided a service, then you don't have to pay. So any fees where they're like, they try to charge you to cancel, 99% of the time you dispute it, then you will win. Anybody else? There's no way this policy is legal. All policies are legal if no one enforces them. Exactly. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like if you actually did this and then you called your card and said the charge was fraudulent or whatever and you tried to fight it, the hotel would most likely just drop it and give you back your money because they know that they have no leg to stand on. They provided zero service, therefore they cannot charge you. Booking and then canceling is not a service. Passive income. I automated a boring little service and it's making about $250 a month from 4 clients. I'm weirdly scared to scale it. Let's see if this one is a hidden advertisement. Sometimes, a lot of times they are. About 8 months ago, I built a small automation for a friend who runs a local business. Basically, it takes the data they already have, cleans it up, generates a weekly report, and emails it to them automatically. Before that, they were paying someone to spend maybe 1 to 2 hours a week, or every week, doing the same thing manually. After it worked for a while, they introduced me to another business owner, then another. I now have 4 clients paying between $50 and $75 a month each. Today, or total is usually around 250. My actual work is maybe 30 minutes a month unless something breaks. The obvious next step would be finding more clients, but I'm hesitating because right now it's almost comically easy. Nobody expects instant support. The setup is simple, and if something fails, I can usually fix it in 10 minutes. If I had 30 clients instead of 4, suddenly I need proper onboarding, billing, monitoring, backups, probably a website, and some kind of support process. The thing that's currently passive-ish could turn into a second job really fast. I know $250 a month isn't impressive money, but honestly, I enjoy opening my account and seeing it arrive while barely thinking about it. Has anyone deliberately kept a small income stream small because scaling it would ruin what made it attractive? Part of me thinks I'm being lazy and leaving money on the table. The other part thinks turning every working little project into a business is exactly how you end up creating another job for yourself. Maybe the sweet spot is having 8 to 10 boring clients and calling it done. That's what I would do, yeah. Scale it up to $1,000 a month, and then you're good to go. Damn, what's he waiting for? Take the jump. I mean, he doesn't want it to be a second job. I kind of understand it. I don't see why you can't scale it up slowly. And if you do $1,000 a month, you get your 10 clients. Right now he's at, what is he at? He said he's at 4. He's at 4 clients right now, doing $250 a month. So if he goes to 8 clients, that would be $500 a month. If he goes to 6, I would go to 16 clients. I would try to get to 16 clients, $1,000 a month. If it's easy for like 3-4 months, then I would try to add more. Scratches are heating back up. I hit a 2x on if, and then a 4x on good. Very nice. Heck yeah. Seems like you found a nice niche. I think you may be too married to the passive aspect of passive income. What's your main income like? Don't actually answer that. If you scale it, maybe a second job and exactly what you're worried about. But then if you stick with it, this could become a serious business and overtake your primary job. See, I guess what I would do, a lot of people are worried about not being able to like answer clients and stuff like that. I think the biggest thing is you are like the business. You make all the decisions. So at that point, you have to just set hours of operation. If there's a problem, then I'm only, the business is only available for customer service calls between like 8 and 10 p.m. or whatever. If it's a second job or, a passive thing, only available on the weekends or Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, Look at the hourly rate. Oh, the hourly rate is, he said he spends about 30 minutes. Spends about 30 minutes a week, so 2 hours a month, making $250. That's $125 an hour. We got, is there a Giovanni sighting? What's up, guys? Oh, nice. What's going on, Giovanni? Very nice. I didn't recognize you. You and Ray have the same color little icon thingy. Okay, this is pretty sick. I would definitely get it up to at least 1,000, personally. Okay, next. Why you should consider a boring business from the Entrepreneur subreddit, posted by Local Light Skin. Greetings. I want to share my experience with running a boring business, specifically a landscape construction business. Hey, I kind of do that sometimes. In the past year, I have grown it from essentially zero to making 35 to 45K a month consistently during the season with one other employee. Whoa! All my equipment is paid off in cash, and there is very steady lead flows of referrals, organic advertising, yard signs, door hangers. In my experience, if you pick one niche, put in the reps consistently, do good, honest work, the results and money will follow. Nowadays, many people overlooking starting an unsexy business, but there's a ton of opportunity in the trades, especially with an aging population. Age is irrelevant. Just want to show you aren't too old or too young. Started when I was 13. I'm 19 now. You can do anything you put your mind to. Cheers, fellow entrepreneurs. Guys, this is my side gig. My side gig is literally like landscape installations. And the last 2 or 3 jobs, I made over $100 an hour. And I literally spent a Saturday and a Sunday, and I made like a ridiculously large amount of money in a short period of time by myself. There's good money to be made in trades. Everyone wants to sit behind a computer. The passive income subreddit drives me crazy because 98% of the posts on there are what apps actually pay. What kind of a psychotic question is that? What apps pay? None of them. None of them. Every single app that pays is going to have you doing surveys and questionnaires and stuff like that. And then they're going to have like $100. Unless you have $100, you cannot cash out. At $90, you are not going to receive any more surveys. Then they just got $90 worth of surveying for free. Nobody actually makes money that way. 0 people make money that way. You cannot make a living with an app unless you are building the app. If you are a user of an app, you cannot make money. It's just silly. Ugh. Okay. Giovanni said, haha, what's up, robbers? I'm good, just waiting on orders to where I'm going next. How are you doing, friend? Ray said, JJ, you ever do Japanese landscape installation? I love backyard Japanese look. Dope AF. I have not, actually. That's one that I haven't done. I've done a lot of, like, the traditional, like, English gardens. Like, the bougie-ass looking... It's just a bunch of shrubbery, honestly. I've done a lot of those. But nothing... No offense to any of my clients, but I've not done anything unique like that. I've done a lot of like Middle East, a lot of Midwest style. You know, just typical, boring. Honestly, not gonna lie, it's boring. When you consider like what a Japanese landscape looks like, it's boring. JJ, can you look at ILMN? I am genuinely 50-50 in the next 2 weeks on that candle structure. ILMN. Illumina. Okay. Well, there's a definite trend. The trend is your friend until the end. You got uptrend, downtrend, uptrend. Well... That's like up, and then that's chop. Up, chop, up. I would say if the trend continues this way, in my opinion, your worst case scenario, allegedly, might be something like that. And it is kind of starting out with that. You know, you get your spike, your relief, and then your chop. Your spike, relief, and then chop. Spike, relief, chop. Right here, spike, relief, chop. Yeah, I would say it's probably just going to be a choppy sideways. That'd be my guess. But it might not be. It might just, like that might be the trend breaking right there. That candle, that pump right there. This might be the breaking of the structure. It might just continue. But yeah, that'd be my guess. Like a little chop. A little choppy, maybe a slight downside. Nothing too crazy, though. Even this, though. Like, this is chopping sideways. This is chopping up-ish. Maybe it chops up. That'd be kind of cool. Like, just slightly off-trend. It's anyone's guess. But yeah, there's a definite... The trend is your friend. You got... Pump, chop, pump, chop, pump, chop. That'd be my guess. And it all depends on perspective. You know, the guy that bought here would tell you this is not chop. He would tell you this is dump because he bought here and he lost a significant amount of money before, you know, that trend, 20%. So it's all about perspective. And you got to make sure that's where you got to not get emotional as well. Somebody that bought right here, if it goes down here and then does this, they're going to be like, that's not chop, that's a dump, you know. Stocks that go into chop are fun to swing. Oh yeah, especially if you have an established range. That used to be my bread and butter, man. You get a momentum trade on a range on Solana specifically. Woo! And I made quite a bit doing that. It was fun. The problem is there's no momentum anymore. We gotta find the momentum. You gotta hunt for it still. I'm using Xammon app and Rabby app. Making money with those apps. I've never heard of any of that. Xammon and Rabby. Rabby wallet for Ethereum and EVM. Okay, that's a crypto wallet. Yeah, those are wallets. Get out of here. I'm talking about the goofballs that like want some weird, like they just download an app and then they get paid for no reason. Okay, let's continue. Let's continue. We have a man cave from Man Cave. Chip Chipperson 6. This is my man cave. There are many like it, but this is mine. This is a lovely man cave. Love the seating. Big TV, beautiful. There's some posters. Funko Pop. Like video games, hell yeah. I like the surround sound. The figurines are okay. You know, I'm not gonna knock anyone's hobbies. I like the ping pong table. You know what I can't stand? I was just recently made this observation. I was like, why do ping pong tables have to be so complicated? It's supposed to be like a fun, like, tabletop with your friends. They have the crazy ones that fold up, and they have like 84 wheels and like levers and bars on the bottom. I'm like, why is that is the most ugly thing? And it doesn't even fold up good. It like goes from like this big to like this big. Like you're not even saving that much space. It just turns into a giant fugly mess in the corner. I don't know why they even make them. Like, you're not going to tell me we have smartphones and robots that can run faster than Usain Bolt, but our fold-up ping pong tables still only save like 5% of space that the unfolded ping pong table saves. I don't know. It's goofy to me, man. This is a nice looking ping pong table. I have a whole conversation about a ping pong table. Love the arcade setup. She's a real beaut, Clark. Yeah, this is sick. I like it. Man cave goals. All right, next. Am I the asshole for telling my mom her boyfriend needs a job by October or they have to move out? So mom lives at home with this guy, apparently. Okay. 23, with this girl. I'm 23, female, and I live with my boyfriend, 23, male. We've been together for 4 years and have had our own apartment for the last 3 years. About a month after we got our first apartment, my mom asked if she could move in with us because of her situation. Okay, she's disabled and doesn't work or receive Social Security. What? So I wanted to help her out. The problem is, about 2 months after she moved in, she brought her boyfriend with her without really asking us. No. Absolutely not. At the time, we only had a 1-bedroom apartment, so my mom was sleeping on the couch, and they were both living here. Ew. When our lease was up the next year, my boyfriend and I decided to get a 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment, so my mom could at least have her own room and bathroom. We agreed that her boyfriend would not be moving in with us because he refuses to work. He's 43, and the entire time he's lived with us, he's only had a job for about 2 weeks before quitting. Neither of them pays anything toward rent, utilities, groceries, or household expenses. Between the extra bedroom, utilities, groceries, and other things, I'd say we're spending around $600 extra a month because they live with us. I also want to clarify that I pay majority of our household's bills because I make more than my boyfriend. So while my boyfriend and I both contribute, a larger portion of the financial responsibility falls on me. I understand that my mom is genuinely sick and I don't expect her to magically move or become healthy or get a job when she physically can't, but at the same time, I'm 23 and trying to support my own household and build my own life. Absolutely not. Mom either needs to get Social Security or her boyfriend needs to get a job. That's it. If she's truly disabled, she should qualify. I really don't mind helping my mom, but I'm getting frustrated with also having to support her boyfriend. I've told my mom multiple times that I need him to get a job and at least help with some of the expenses. Our lease is up in October, and I told her that if he still doesn't have a job by then, they're going to have to move out. My grandmother has her own house and land, and my mom could stay with her, so she wouldn't be homeless or without somewhere to go. The main thing she wouldn't be able to do there is smoke inside. Okay, disabled mom can't smoke. Disabled mom needs to go live with grandma. It's not my problem. Okay, where? Who's paying for her cigarettes? What really gets to me is that my boyfriend and I have never really gotten to experience living on our own. Exactly. Every apartment we've had, my mom has ended up living with us too. I feel bad because my mom and I want to help, or because she's my mom and I want to help her. But at the same time, I don't think it's fair for me and my boyfriend to keep paying for 2 adults indefinitely, especially when her boyfriend is capable of working but chooses not to. Am I the asshole for giving my mom an October deadline and telling her that if her boyfriend doesn't get a job, they'll have to move out? SN edit. One thing I want to clarify, because I don't want this to come across like I'm saying she's perfectly healthy and just refuses to work. She actually had disability for about 6 years. When she had to reapply, she was denied multiple times. She has gone to doctors, even been told by her doctor that based on her medical history and lab work, she should qualify for Social Security, but Social Security still denied her. She has very limited mobility and can't stand for more than a couple of minutes without being extremely weak. There are times she can't even walk to the corner store without getting weak. She falls to the ground. She's probably lacking oxygen because she's freaking smoking. So I'm not saying she isn't sick or she isn't faking anything. I understand that she needs help. My issue is that I don't know how much longer the household can be responsible for supporting 2 additional adults. Yeah, no. She's got to go live with grandma. If there's an option for her to live somewhere other than your apartment, she's got to go. She's got to go. Go live with grandma. I'm not dealing with your shit. Quit smoking. Get a job or figure out your Social Security. You are literally home all day. You have no other obligations. Figure out your Social Security. And your boyfriend needs to get a job or stop dating him. You guys are bums. They are leeching off of their children. May God help us all. Was accommodating the boyfriend from the very first, and the mother is an asshole for being entitled and insensitive. Yes, it was her apartment. OP should have just said, I didn't agree to this, and I'm only housing my mother. Do get out. If dear mother had thrown a tip, okay, Momsy, do get out as well. OP is also being ridiculous, not insisting that the mother at least apply for disability benefits if she's legitimately too disabled to work. Yes, she may get turned down, have to reapply, etc. As someone who's been on disability for a long time, I know how difficult it is, but you don't get anything if you don't try, and OP should be asking all of the adults in the home to make every effort to contribute, and in her mom's case, that means applying for disability. Exactly. She needs to get that figured out. And if she's not disabled, then they're not going to give her disability. She needs to go get a job. She's smoking cigarettes. She's a 43-year-old jobless adult woman living with her kid so she can smoke cigarettes inside. That's ridiculous. Absolutely not. Mom's got to go. I don't care if she's living on a damn street. Get the hell out of my apartment. Ridiculous. Stocks going to chime in a short on that baby all day. Mr. Roberts said, Ray said, JJ, I haven't picked the poll yet. Ooh, okay. I have not specified my pick either. I have to verbalize mine. I can't actually vote. Guys, if you have not voted yet, we do have a poll in the chat. It's a zombie apocalypse. Which crypto personality are you picking for your team? You can only pick one. Options are Michael Saylor, who's a marketing public relations maestro. He could talk your way in and out of anything. CZ, finance guy. He's been to prison, so he knows like how the non-modern economies work. Charles Hoskinson lives on a farm, so he could grow food. And Vitalik Buterin. He won't eat much, and he's got a big brain. Let us know what you think. I think this person's not the asshole. I think they're the asshole for allowing their mother to take advantage of them for this long. That's why I think they're the asshole. Okay, last but not least, from Practical Pizza 6863, posted on Am I the Asshole? Am I the asshole for telling my in-laws they couldn't come on my family's annual trip? Who CZ's been to prison? I'm with him. Yeah, CZ's been to prison. He served time for he like facilitated money laundering or something because his rules weren't strict enough for Binance. Some BS. I don't know. It's kind of goofy, to be honest. Okay. My family does an annual family trip. This has been going on since we were kids. There's 14 of us now. The trip consists of my parents, their 5 kids, me and my siblings, our 3 spouses, and 4 grandkids. My parents used to plan it. Now the siblings plan it. It's a yearly opportunity for us to get together, especially now since we're all grown, some married, and most of us live in different cities across different states. I really like this. I'm probably going to try to steal this idea. My in-laws don't do any type of family trips or travel. When I first got married, I tried to organize similar trips with them, but their adult kids always made up excuses of why they couldn't go, so eventually I stopped trying. This year, my family is doing a cruise. Ooh. We have a whole thing planned, and we're going to eat all the meals together. We got restaurant seating, rooms next to each other, decor and scavenger hunt. That's fun. Bunch of sightseeing things and matching Outfits, it's obnoxious, I know, but we love it. And we have planned activities during the cruise. That sounds like so much fun. Mr. Robert said, what the F was that, JJ? You got an assistant voice? What is there? Was there an assistant voice? What did I miss? Did I miss something? Was something playing on Twitter or something, maybe? No, that's muted. Let me check over here. No, there's nothing else that could have been playing. What what did you hear, Mr. Roberts? Now I'm curious. How long ago was it? Should I play the stream on the side and listen to it? Interesting. I don't know what you heard. What the F was that, JJ? You got an assistant voice? I'm effing with you. Don't do that. I thought something was actually wrong. I don't know who's talking, man. The computer's like narrating random things. There's AI everywhere, dude. I'm probably infiltrated. Freaking Ultron has infiltrated the computer. Blockchain Brew said, we told you the bottom was in. Let's effing go. Smash JJ button and subscribe to his fire. Appreciate you, Blockchain Brew. Guys, go check out Blockchain Brew. I would like to point out, I said never below 60K again or something like that the other day on their stream. So yes, we did say the bottom was in. Okay, let's continue. Yearly opportunity, it's obnoxious, I know. Okay, anyway, after casually discussing it, my in-laws asked if they could join my family's annual trip this year. Not as separate cruise guests, but as members of our group. I was taken aback by the ask, but immediately tried to shut it down. Ooh. Mr. Roberts went to the shed, bro. Okay. I didn't just outwardly no, because I didn't want to hurt their feelings, so I made excuses, hoping they'd get the hint. I said, well, if you guys come, then my siblings would have to invite their in-laws too, and it'd be a whole thing. They were like, oh, you don't have to invite their in-laws, just us. I also said my siblings wouldn't feel at ease with them because they don't know them like that. And they said, so they'll get to know us like this is how we'd get to know each other better. In our culture, we blend families. I was trying to find so many random excuses, hoping they'd get the hint. I didn't say the truth, which was that my family didn't care to get to know them and we wouldn't want them there. We want to enjoy vacation with just us. Yeah, no, that's not a vacation at that point. If like new people are coming, that's no longer a vacation. That's like a task, you know what I mean? Introductions and stuff. That's just everything's already booked, and we can't add more people to the trip. Sorry, it's that easy. I live in the same city as my in-laws, and I see them weekly. I see my family once a year altogether. My family also has a very different vibe from my in-laws. My family is close. Our conversations flow easily, and we have a similar sense of humor, similar interests, and just have a good time together. We are loud and animated and big personalities. I truly enjoy my family's company. I love them, but I also like them as people, even if we weren't related. My in-laws are different. They're more quiet and reserved and often feel like pulling teeth when trying to make conversation with them. When my husband and I visit, the conversations feel tense and forced, or we sit at the dinner table and sometimes no one will talk the entire time, and then they'll go after dinner and watch TV and just want us to sit there and watch TV with them. Ooh. My family has met my in-laws, and the resounding feedback was, they're nice, but not our vibe. It's their way of being polite. They respect them, and will see them out of respect for my husband, but it's definitely not like they're enthusiastic about meetups with them. Anyways, when I rejected the idea of them joining the family's trip, they seemed really hurt by the fact. They kept saying it was weird that my family was gatekeeping our annual trip and that we were weird for not wanting to include them. There was a lot of scoffing and defensiveness. My husband was trying to defend and say, hey, every family is different. This is just how they are. But the whole situation got on my nerves. I wanted to say, hey guys, your own kids don't want to vacation with you. Why would my family? This is a really rude thought, and I didn't say it, obviously, but just was an awe at their lack of self-awareness. I did offer for us to do separate family cruise with them. That's actually, I think, even more ridiculous, but I guess that's a big offer. Anyways, I'm so put off by the situation. Ultimately, they dropped it, but created an icy air during dinner, and you could sense they weren't happy. I don't think I'm the asshole, but wanted to come on here and make sure. Is this normal? Are other families combining in-laws? Reddit, please let me know. Am I the asshole? I don't know, man. I think it's weird when in-laws, like, know each other and they're, like, friendly and cordial. I don't know why. In my brain, that's, like, the most strange thing because I'm so used to, like, parents and in-laws basically hating each other. Or it's very much usually just, like, a mutual, like, we know each other exists and that's it. Like, nobody cares to intermingle, you know what I mean? Mixing in-laws sounds insane to me. Oh, okay. Mr. Roberts said, Yo, Waters, if you're still present here, I wanted to let you know that I think of you now and again. I know that sounds weird, but I do, LOL. And there it is. Hope you're good, bro. We do appreciate Waterfly. Waterfly is a staple of the channel. I took him off payroll so he doesn't come around as much. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Okay, he's still on payroll. That was the joke. Edit, for those asking where my husband was in all this, he was there and he was helping making excuses for why they couldn't come. That's where the scoffing was coming from. He was like, hey, this is how their family does it. The brother and sister-in-laws don't know you like that. The grandkids want to see their grandparents, aunts, uncles. You guys are strangers to majority of the group. And they kept scoffing, going, well, they need to expand. They should get to know us more in our culture. Families come together. At that point, I would have said, we can do that not on the annual family cruise. You know, if you want to plan something else, we can plan something else for the sole purpose of everybody being introduced. Ray said, it's not incest, bro. Relax, JJ. It's just, it's so uncommon, I think, when you have your parents and then your in-laws. It's so uncommon for them to, like, enjoy each other's company that in my brain, it's strange. It's almost like having neighbors that you like to hang out with. You know, like, that's so uncommon in my experience that I would be like, whoa, you're friends with your neighbor? What? Which, I gotta say, when I buy a house, I'm actually excited to make friends with my neighbor. So hopefully I have, even if they're crotchety, I don't know, I feel like that would be more of a challenge if they're like a pissy old person, you know? Like Clint Eastwood and Gran Torino. I don't know why that's where my mind went. Hopefully nobody gets shot. Oh, man. Okay. They kept scoffing, going, well, they need to expand. You should get to know us more in our culture. Families come together. I just wanted to be like, hey, read the room. You are not wanted here, please. Don't make me say it. If the situation was reversed and my sister invited her in-laws, who I've met a total of 5 times since their wedding, and only seen at random major life events, to a week-long vacation, I would be frustrated too. I took PTO for and paid lots of money for to see and hang out with my family. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It is like the Johnson family vacation, not the Johnson and Smith family. You know, we're not commingling families. This is just immediate family. You are not invited. Don't invite yourself. That's weird. Okay. The cruise is organized by your parents to get their kids, partners, and grandkids all together. It's not about your family. It's their trip. It's not, though. But that would have been a good excuse. If your in-laws want to do something similar, then you'd be happy to help plan it, but they aren't included for this trip. Tell them you're incredibly flattered and love spending time with them, but this trip is not about them, and it's not organized by you, not the asshole. Yeah, I think that was the go-to excuse. She should have been like, hey, you know, it's already organized and paid for, and there's no room for any extra people. I'm sorry. You know, maybe we can plan our own trip. That's it. That's all said and done. I don't know why they left it open. Like, oh, there's still plenty of room for other people to come. And then they're like, oh, can we come? And then they're like, oh, no. They should have made it cut and dry. There's no room for anybody else. It's done. It's booked. You cannot come. It's literally impossible. It's a trip that my parents organized to spend time with their kids. Except for the part where the OP states that their siblings organize it now. Parents are no longer do. Yeah, exactly. In-laws don't need to know that, though. Not the asshole. Moreover, these in-laws sound like pushy dullards who'd be a drag on any family vibe. If they bring it up flat out, tell them no with no more discussion. with flimsy excuses. Furthermore, clam up on discussing. You don't want them surprising you by booking separately aboard your ship on a specified date. Keep mum, not the ass. It sounds like they don't even have money to do it. They're just people that sit in front of a TV all day, like weirdos. I've tried to organize similar trips with family, but this is our family trip, and the only time we get to spend together. It's already a lot of people, and it's a special time reserved, I can't read, for my parents and their kids. If you plan something similar with your kids, we'll be happy to join. Thank you for the awards. You'll be too wordy and doing too much. Hubby needs to say, Mom and Dad, this is not a trip organized by our family, nor is it our family. Feel free to plan a trip for our side. That's also pretty wordy. Just be like, no, there's no room. There's no room. Yes, Mr. Roberts, absolutely. Absolutely. MicroStrategy. I'm quite surprised at MicroStrategy's performance. I do want to see it get above this trend line, though. What do you got for us, Mr. Roberts? Arrow looking decent. We got a little triple bottom action going on here. 1, 2, 3. Definite. It looks like we're above the resistance line, too, which is good. I don't know. I'm just making stuff up, guys. We just make stuff up here. It's fine. Pump is up 9.49%. Since the daily close. Holy cow. I still can't believe how good Bitcoin did. TXRH. I shorted a little early on August 10th. TXRH. TXRH. Whoops. Ooh. We've talked about this before. Excuse me. And there was a very clear trend resistance line. Go to the daily. Oh, yeah. I shorted early on August 10th. Stop it. You got an entry price? What's your entry? August 10th. I'm going to guess you entered at 208.6. That's my guess. This is my guess for Mr. Roberts. Short entry. Of which, if it is, we would be 2.72. If it's a 2x, then 5.4% in the green. Very nice. Yeah, there's a very clear trend on this. Your best worst case scenario is, in my opinion, I guess I would look at 200. What the hell? I would look at 200 for some support. And if you lose 200, then I would definitely then just look at probably 190. 190? 208 be the entry? Ooh, I was close. 8's my favorite number, so I was going with 208 naturally, but 208 even seemed a little too even. But it is what it is. 208. Very nice. I'm actually quite impressed with myself. Look at that. All right, 208. 200 is definitely going to be a psychological level to look out for. Otherwise, if we lose that level, I'm going to guess 190. And then if you lose 190, it's going to be even more spicy. This is like short-term stuff. You could get a bounce there. You can get a bounce there. You could break through both of those and go all the way down there. You could even break through that. Who knows, man? But that's the guess. Ideally, you would go all the way down to like 160 for that short to really print. And that is your lower trend line, and you do frequently touch that level. So, and this was a solid, you get solid run up, solid run down, run up, run down, run up, run down. Yeah. Did you look at the Bitcoin dominance one more time? The Bitcoin price keeps pumping, but that Bitcoin dominance chart keeps saying subdued. Understand how bullish that is for alts. I actually have a specific level I'm looking for in dominance. So yeah, that's, oh, this is Texas Roadhouse. Yeah, this is post World Cup. The foreigners really like Texas Roadhouse, but they're gone now, so I would not be surprised if we see some Texas Roadhouse farts coming out of the chart for sure. Bitcoin dominance. Ooh, that resistance at 59.37 really came into play, didn't it? Okay, so around the daily, the big level I'm looking for like proper alt season action is 57.68. If we lose 57.68, in my opinion, it is the official kickoff for alt season. We got it very, very briefly December of 2024. We got a hot second in September of 25. September, October is where everything went wrong. And then we've just been kind of suppressed under 60 this whole time for Bitcoin dominance, but it's been very, very sideways choppy. Look how messy this chart is, guys. Good Lord. So yeah, if this thing breaks below, I'm just going to call it 57 to be honest. If we break below 57, 57.68 I guess, then I'm thinking that's go time for alt season. Yeah, man, this thing's just been sideways. Let's go to the weekly, see if we can spot a trend from previous. See, it's so hard to tell, though. Look at how tight it got, too. It used to be so volatile because there were so few alts, but now there's a ton of them, so this thing's really tightly ranged. You can tell that the same money is just changing hands between Bitcoin and altcoins. Looks like 40 is the bottom. So right now, if I had the capability of looking at a clean chart, I would say you got your uptrend, you got your plateau, and you got your drop. We did our uptrend. We're doing our plateau right now. Uptrend, we're doing our plateau right now. Eventually, we're going to get our drop. And right now, we are right here. So, timeline-wise, it's so close, man. What are we looking for? January? January is the latest possibility. If the cycle is shortening, which, I don't, who knows, you know, we're just making up semantics and arbitrary calendar points at this point, but you better own Bitcoin and alts. Oh, for sure. Guys, if I ever completely sell out of the market, something is wrong. Even when I take profits, I plan on keeping it back. I think that fully exiting the market, in my opinion, is crazy, only because of the possibility of missing out. And that is FOMO by definition, but it's more of a security blanket. If I don't make enough money to where leaving 10% on the table is unheard of, then I didn't make enough money. So, I don't know. I don't know, man. I'm excited, though. I am super stoked. Stoked to see where we go. Did I read this whole thing? I did, actually. Wow. Yeah, not the asshole. I think the in-laws suck. I think that's pretty straightforward, honestly. But yeah, Bitcoin dominance, I'm excited. We're going to reject 59.37 here. Again, we really rejected 60 long term, which is huge. That's like the top of this whole entire range that we've been in. So, yeah, we're right in the middle of it. Right in the middle of it. We're probably 33% of the way down. 1.2 versus 3.8. Yeah, it's pretty close. We're 33% of the way. So the first out of 3, we did 1, 2, 3 blocks, and then once we break through that third block, then it is go time. We're just establishing our arbitrary timelines is all. Bitcoin looks great. Let's see if we can sustain this, man. Let's see what happens. I'm going to call it an evening. Let's see our results on the poll. My personal pick, I'm going to go with... Oh, God, this one's actually hard. As much as I hate it, I think I would go with Vitalik. I do. I think I would go with Vitalik. Because if you think about everybody, it's a zombie apocalypse. If, for some crazy reason, I have to fight one of these guys, if something goes wrong and we get in a physical altercation, Vitalik is going to go down the easiest. Charles, big dude, he probably absorbs hits. CZ's been to prison, he'd probably snap me in half. And Michael Saylor is like perma-coked up, so he'd probably just be like really hard to catch. I'm going to go with Vitalik. Like I said, big brain, he doesn't eat much, so he can like help us strategize, and he will consume very little. Everybody else eats quite a bit. I don't know. That'd be my pick. Charles, an outdoor kind of guy too. Well, yeah. I'm not gonna take that away from him. He is. Okay. Anyways, I asked you guys. I said it's a zombie apocalypse. Oh. Which crypto personality are you picking for your team? 42% of you guys said Charles Hoskinson. 33% said CZ Binance. 17% said Vitalik, and 8% said Michael Saylor. Crazy, crazy stuff. All right, let me, I'm going to post these results just because it's fun. I'm going to post this on X. Cool. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm going to call it an evening. As always, when the market starts to do anything crazy or anything at all, I will hop back on. Otherwise, I will see you all tomorrow. Don't forget to smash the like button on your way out. Check out my new latest upload somewhere on the channel, wherever you go to get to the channel. We got crazy, creepy clown stories in honor of the 10-year anniversary of the 2016 Crazy Killer Clown Scare. So go check that out. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to smash the like button on your way out. Happy Wednesday, and good night.